Comparison always returns a Boolean value. Remember, a Boolean returns true or false. Double equals and triple equals are used to test equality. Triple equals test strict equality. Strict equality means that you are testing both the type and the value. The double equals test only the value. Double equals are called abstract equality and triple equals strict equality. These are the official names according to ECMAScript. However, you will hear a lot of variations among developers. When I talk, I prefer to call them double and triple equals because abstract equality and strict equality, it is very mouthful. However, when I write, I call them with their names. Let's take an example. So 5 equal to 5 returns true because the values are both 5, and with double equals, we only check the value. Now, 5 equal, so triple equals to 5, again, it returns true because both of them are numbers and both of them have the same value, 5. What about 5 equal to, or maybe double equal, to 5 but a string? It returns true because we are not checking for the type here, we just check for the value, and the value is 5, so 5 is equal to 5. However, with triple equals, again, it is strict equality, so we are also checking the type, the data type. So 5 triple equal to string 5, it is false, because this is a number and this is a string. And of course, they are not the same type. Even if the value is the same, the type is not, and this is why this returns false, because both of them should be the same type and the same value. Okay, so the next one is this one, and let me copy it so I don't have to type it. So Devlob triple equal to Devlob, it is true because the data type is the same, they're both strings, and the value again is the same. For both of them, it is Devlob. Now, what about hello and there? So this will return false because the data type is the same. Yes, it is a string for both of them. However, the values are not the same. Of course, you also have not equal with one equal sign and not equal with two equal signs. So this is for this is strict comparison, but the negative, the opposite, the evil one. And this is for double equals. This is the abstract equality, the evil of abstract equality. So this will test for type and value, and this will only test for the value. So 5 is 5 not equal to 0 in terms of data type and value? Yes, it is not equal because 5 it is not equal to 0. They are both numbers, so that's good, but they are not equal. So this returns true. What about 5 not equal to 0? So this is just testing the value, and again, this also returns true. What about false triple equal to an empty string? This will return false because types are different. This is a Boolean and this is a string, and values are different. Obviously, this is false and this is an empty string. However, you will see in this link here that an empty string is also false. So actually the values are the same, but the data type it is not. So if I do this instead, it returns true because false is equal to false. You can see in this link that an empty string with single quotes or with double quotes or with backticks, it is always false. This is why false is equal to an empty string, because this is converted to a Boolean. So an empty string is actually false. What about false triple equal to false but a string? Of course, this is not equal because, first of all, the type are not equal. This is a Boolean, this is a string, and the values are also not the same because this is, again, a Boolean. It is false. and this is false, but it is a string false. What about false double equal to 0? This returns true because 0 is actually false. If you go to falsy here, you can see that 0 is a falsy value. There are so many cases like this in JavaScript that I cannot go through all of them in one video. So again, this link has the falsy values and this link has the truthy values. For example, an empty object is true. You might expect it to be false because the object is empty, but it is actually true. And same applies for arrays. An empty array is true. Now you also have available greater, less, greater or equal to, and less or equal to. For example, 1 greater than 8. It is false, as you can see. Or 5 less than 3. It is false, of course. I'm not sure why I have this as true. Let me quickly change this. My bad. Okay. So 5 less than 3 is false. And another one, 10 greater or equal to 10 should return true because 10 is actually equal to 10. What about comparing a string to a number? For example, 5 less than 3. JavaScript will convert the number 3, but this is a string, this is not actually a number, but it will be converted to a number when doing the comparison. This results to 5 less than 3, and this returns false. An empty string is converted to 0, and 0, as you can see here, is false. So if you do something like 0 equal to an empty string, you can see that this is true because an empty string is converted to 0 and 0 is equal to 0 in terms of abstract equality. Now, strings are compared letter by letter. Those 2, the string 2, greater than the string 10 should return true. 2 is greater than 1. Remember, they are compared letter by letter. This is why you do not compare numbers like this. I mean, if you want to compare numbers, just convert them to numbers so you can compare them. Now, if you want to learn more about this, how you can do string comparison in JavaScript, these are the steps that JavaScript follows, so you can read through them and understand why you get this result. Why do you get true when you compare these two values? So to sum up, double equal will do type conversion. So this is what, let me actually do this here. This is what you see here. Okay, so 5 double equal to 5. So with double equals, what JavaScript does is to do some type conversion, which means that it will convert this 5, which is a string, to a number. And then you have 5 equal to 5, and it is true. One of the special cases was that when you compare a number to an empty string, JavaScript will convert the empty string to 0, as we did. Do we have the example here? I think not. Okay. But we can actually see this again. So 0 equal to an empty string. As you can see, it will return this empty string to a 0, and this is why you get true. Also, 0 is false, and 0 here will also be false, so false equal to false, it is true. JavaScript is very, very weird sometimes, but this is one of the reasons why so many developers hate JavaScript. Anyways, because JavaScript has to do type conversion with double equals, it is slower compared to triple equals, because triple equals, they do not do type conversion. They check the type. Is it the same? Yes. Continue with the value. Is the value the same? Yes. Return true. Or the other case, is the type the same? No. Return true. Return false. However, with double equals, you do type conversion. And because it has to go through type conversion, it is slower compared to triple equals. The performance is minimal, almost zero. Especially nowadays that computers are so fast, would it make any difference if you pour a glass of water into a lake? No, right? This is the case here. It doesn't make any difference. There is no even need to say that there is a performance issue with double equals, because there is not any performance. You do not gain any performance when you use triple equals. You use triple equals because this is actually the best option, because you want to, most of the times, I guess 9 out of 10 times, you want to check the type, you also want to check the value. Otherwise, you're going to get some unusual results, right? Who would expect that 0 double equal to an empty string is true? Because you don't really think this way, right? 0 is not equal to an empty string. Doesn't make any sense, but this actually makes sense in JavaScript. Of course, if I use triple equals, this will return false, because first of all, they are not the same data type. This is a number, this is a string, and it will stop there, it will return false. But also you can say that these are not the same values, and you have right. They are not the same values, but the strict comparison will not go on. We'll just stop to the type. Is the type the same? No, return false. This is what it does here. To the question now, which one should you use? Always use triple equal. If you have a specific reason to use double equals, then okay, you can go ahead. But in most of the cases, you have to use triple equals. So let's take another example. What about null equal to undefined? As you can see, we are using the double equal. It returns true. How the hell null is equal to undefined? This should return false. And if you use triple equals, you actually get false, which is what you would expect. So double equals doesn't return what you're thinking. They always return something, very confusing. Again, you have to go through these falsy and truthy values so you can see how JavaScript thinks when it does, conversions. And of course, the same applies for not equal not equal and not equal. If you want to read the ECMAScript specification, you can do it in this link. So if I search for comparison, okay, here we are. So we have this. This should be the one. So this goes through some theory. This is the ECMAScript specification that JavaScript uses. So you can go through the abstract equality and the strict equality. This is why I say that these are the official names, because this is how ECMAScript calls them, abstract equality and strict equality. However, as I said, you will hear a lot of variations when it comes to naming them. Because there are so many tricky comparisons in JavaScript, this website has a nice table and summarizes all the possible options. So this is for double equal and this is for triple equal. You also have if you want to take a look at it. And as you can see here, the moral of the story, always use 3 equals unless you have a good reason to use 2. And this is actually what I propose as well. And you actually get this in all of them. Also for the if. Yeah, so this is the moral of the story. Use triple equals unless you have a specific reason to use double equals.